the, the three of us who were at lunch got that idea, we had to say, okay, so what are we going to do about this? Well, and then we came up with, well, could we call them by conference call and just tell them that we were praying about them, and they came to mind, and this was the conversation we had, and see if the conversation sticks. So we did that when we just said, could you guys join us for a conference call one night we've just got an idea, we want to float by you, it'll take 20 minutes. So what we did, we had the conference call, took 20 minutes, and we said, all we want you to do is to think and pray about this, have a conversation with each other, and then could we get back to you in 2 weeks and just hear if anything bubbled? So we sort of designed that in the early phase. That early phase, I call it between inspiration and incarnation, is a really delicate and rich and full of potential phase that if you don't use these skills in, they'll just remain a whole bunch of good ideas, but don't ever find their way into walking. So we said, that first conversation, we said, get back to you in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, we came back and they said, we had this conversation, we've been praying about it. We think we might need to take another step. And so they said, what's another step that we could take to test this out? And our recommendation at that point was that the person who might be the new missional community leader, that he would go through, there were some things that he could do to sort of assess, did he have the skill set and the work style and the way of thinking that might serve itself well in a new church community? And then the pastor of the church had to just inform himself of, so what would it mean to be a congregation that hosts this and sends this out into the world? What does that mean for that church? What pitfalls do they have? What challenges do they have? What energy do they gain? So what we ended up doing was, the one person took a path of being assessed basically for the leadership competencies that this could happen. The other person, we gave them 3 different churches that they could go talk to and learn a little bit more about, and then we would come back together and see what we should do next. So they did that, and then we came back together, and we heard what they learned, and they were both still said, there are really positive things, and we think we should keep pursuing this. And the sense of calling got deeper, so that's when we had to go and talk. They wanted to talk with their session about it, and then that's when we talked with our executive board and our presbytery about it. But it's those early phases of what do you go to do? What steps could you take to see if there's any traction here? And then come back to it. The accountability is, well, let's have another conversation at some point after you've taken these steps. What next steps could you take to see if there's any more traction here? And then there's another set of things to take. So that's, I think, an example of just developing that in the informal and the formal ways of engaging with people. Does that